Hello there and welcome to None of Your Business, the podcast that takes a lighthearted look at life outside of work. My name is Dani Pearce and joining me today in our family home is in fact my wife Dani Pearce, the founder and CEO of Merry People, a global gumboot business which has sold over 1 million pairs of gumboots. We focus on Dani's early life growing up on a dairy farm, her mum migrating from India, her love of all things health, wellness and fitness, as well as being a working mum and that juggle. We hope you enjoy.
So where's the office, back at division? In the office, baby.
None of your business. None of your business. None of your business. None of your business.
Welcome to None of Your Business. My name is Dani Pearce and joining me today is a very special guest, someone I'm fortunate to know quite well. She is the founder and CEO of Merry People, a global gumboot business, and she also happens to be my wife. So thanks for joining me, Dani.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's awesome to have you. Now, obviously, the premise of this show is really to focus on your life outside of work. Obviously, I think when I talk to people and they say, you know, what do you do for work? I say, not much, but my wife has this gumboot business and everyone knows it. But they probably don't know as much about you behind the scenes and what you do outside of work and how you sort of stay sane and can be such a great sort of working mum and all those components. But I thought it'd be helpful to kind of give an insight to our audience, which at this stage is probably yourself. So quite unique to have your first guest as also probably your first listener. But your background and growing up on a dairy farm and being a country girl, and then also I think it's really cool the story of your mum migrating across from India and settling into Leongatha. So could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So do you want me to start on my country upbringing?
Please.
Yeah. So I grew up on a farm, just out of Leongatha, and I'm one of 4 children. I'm second in the pecking order, same as you. Life was really fun, and I have really fond memories of just playing on the farm, making our own fun, just having adventures with my siblings, and life was simple but really fun. And my mum is Indian, and mum was one of the first people of colour that was around, came to Leongatha. And I think, that was a very unique experience in that, mum dressed differently. We ate different food, had different traditions. And I actually didn't even really know colour until I actually went to school for the first time. I hadn't really thought about it. It was very unique, but at times definitely challenging, and times you just wanted to be the same as everyone else. But I think, looking back in hindsight, being able to feel okay with being different was, I guess, a little bit of strength in adulthood, and maybe even feeling comfortable to start a business. So life was great, and I feel really grateful to have been brought up with parents with different cultures, and I think that's just added a uniqueness to me.
I remember you saying your mum, she wanted to infiltrate the Country Women's Association as soon as she got here to learn their secrets, so she got involved in the cooking, etc. But I remember you also were sort of recalling that when you went to school and you'd have those International Food Days, that you're like the only student who'd actually bring something that was different to Lamingtons or pavlova or...
No, it was actually International Day at my school was my mum. So she would come to my primary school and bring biryani and bring her saris and dress people up and talk about Indian culture, but then also other cultures around the world. So I think it definitely made me know that there was more to life outside of Leongatha and more to life outside of Australia even. And I think having parents who had a bit of a, I guess, global mindset, or really interested in cultures and people of difference all around the world, I think was a great thing to have at home.
Because your dad travelled around as a musician and met your mum in Singapore, is that right?
Yes, that's right. So a very unique story.
And what was the band called again? Remind me.
The Electrons.
Shout out to the Electrons. I think there's still a T-shirt somewhere, but they could come on board as
got it.
They might do some intro music for us. It might be a bit dated now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like in terms of also seeing people in different contexts, like it's funny, one of the inspirations for this program as well for me was recently we'd had a weekend at your parents' place at the farm, and I was ready to get out of there in terms of getting Georgia home because she needed to have a nap, etc. And there was a cow that was stuck in, is it called the crush?
Yes.
And then you just jumped out of the car and sort of, freed it. And it's funny, like obviously I knew you grew up on a farm, but then sort of seeing you thrust into action and in a different context, like developing this deeper appreciation. And it's like, oh yeah, of course Dani knows how to do this, and just those multifaceted layers to us. So I don't know, it's sort of like one of the inspirations for this was really to try and show the other side of people and things that people might not actually necessarily know.
Yes.
But another story I want you to tell from the farm growing up, because I think it informs your steely determination, is when you were quite young, you went on a bike ride. It's quite concerning when you actually hear about it.
Yes, it is.
At the age that you were, etc. So if you wouldn't mind sharing that, I think it's a great story.
Yeah, I actually remember parts of it, but it was my mum and dad were in town. My sister was at kinder, my older sister, and I was at home with my grandma, my mum's mum, and she was praying in the front room. And she, was supposed to be looking after me, and I, was a bit bored at home. So I thought, and I'd go into Leongatha and visit my sister at kinder. Michelle used to always come home with all, this great artwork and all these interesting things. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll go see her. And just got on my tricycle and started riding my tricycle into Leongatha. And I think I got down to almost the end of our road, which is pretty far. Like it's maybe,
you tell me.
I don't know. It's probably like
kilometers.
7 or 8 kilometers.
Yeah.
At all country, windy roads and dirt road. And then, one of our neighbours saw me and put me in her car and took me home. And I got in a lot of trouble, but so did my grandma.
And how old were you at the time? Because you were quite young.
I think I was only 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing. Obviously that's probably one of the traits I love about you so much is, how headstrong you are and how determined you are. And that definitely also permeates through our daughter. But maybe also, I guess visiting the country now, having grown up there, and obviously, you work incredibly hard and, full time and a working mum, sort of the rejuvenative and regenerative qualities of visiting the farm and the country, and obviously Inverloch being close by where we got married as well, which was lovely. Like, what is it about that place other than having family there that sort of fills up your cup? Because I know when we drive home, I sort of see you kind of almost this wave comes over you and you're sort of ready to go again.
Yeah. I can't really explain it that well, except I just feel when I get on the Monash and then when we just start to break away from the city and just seeing the rolling hills, I just feel my body relax more, and I just feel it's always going to be home to me and somewhere that feels very familiar. So I think I lived on the same farm for 16 odd years before I moved to Melbourne. So, and my parents are still on that farm. So
and still working and they're
yeah. So I think there's it just is home for me, and it just makes me feel relaxed and calm and a nice, very familiar energy. And a few of my really good friends are still living down that way. So it's always lovely to catch up with people and my friends' parents and obviously, our family. So I just love it. Yeah.
Oh, I love seeing you in that environment as well. And I think I've always joked, I struck gold when I met you, because I think I've spoke about this before, even at our wedding, that when I saw you come in, we met at a cafe, and it was actually the first thought that entered my head. It's going to sound quite corny and lame, but I said to myself, I want to marry this girl. And I hadn't even spoken to you yet, but I was just really taken by you when you came in. When we started to go and visit your family and at the farm, your mum's obviously a feeder, and that was a love language. And I was probably over $1 at that point in time in terms of my weight. And she would make these enormous brekkies, and she'd say, you can't just have that, Nick, you need to have this as well. But I've cut out those brekkies because you started to say, Mum, enough, he doesn't need it. And thanks for doing that, by the way, because I'm feeling a lot happier and healthier. But she still makes these amazing coffees, and I can't describe it, but it's probably my favourite thing that she does is this. It's like like a love language exchange, but it's this coffee that's just got the milk straight from, like, is it the teat of the cow? It's like literally like
Yeah, it's just unpasteurized.
Yeah.
It's, raw milk.
Yeah. And
It's illegal, I think, to sell
Oh,
it.
really? Well, it tastes delicious. Probably contraband, but it's sort of like, it's got the, the instant coffee. It's nothing flash, but it just, it really warms the soul. But I remember saying that, like I lucked out because prior to meeting you, Indian food was my favorite food. And then I love wet weather and the rain. And I met this woman whose background, she's half Indian, and she runs this gumboot business and rainwear. So it was written in the stars. So for me, it is also, it's become like a place, and I'm quite a homebody, as you know. But I really enjoy going down there as well. There's something about it that just kind of, it's cleansing, which I love. But I think all of that has really informed this work ethic, which is definitely applicable to your work. And you are an incredibly hard worker, as I say. But I feel like that also translates to working out. And fitness is a big thing for you. And I'd love for you to tell us a bit about sort of your fitness journey and what you do to sort of stay sane when you're working sort of in this job that's very demanding. But I know it's really important to you and to me as well. But tell me about your exercise.
Yeah, so I've always exercised. I think I've always loved sport, and I think my family growing up, all my siblings, we all used to run and go for runs on the farm. And I would say actually even in Leongatha, or particularly primary school, it was where I found my place. I think I developed friends through running and through netball, and I think it's a thing that is particularly in the country just seems to be something that draws people together. So I've always loved sport. Played netball on Saturdays at the Leongatha courts with my sister, and we'd go watch my brothers play footy over at the Oval after, and have lots of really fond memories of that stage in my life. And then always ran through school, did I would say okay at school, maybe not as good as you actually.
Don't worry about me. This podcast is about you. I really enjoyed
that, and would always make it to state for running, never beyond that. I think my best was I got third in hurdles, I think when I was about 14, at state, which was like
great colour. Bronze
best.
Is a great colour. Beautiful.
But in school, but and then from then I've just always enjoyed exercising, and I think as I've gotten older, it's just become something that makes me just feel really good. And I think there's a lot of things that, particularly I think becoming a mum, it was a thing that just helped me feel more like myself in having that time to build my strength and build my fitness back. It just helped me feel a little bit more sane, and just to have that time to myself as well was really important. And as you know, I probably exercise like 6 days a week. And I just like to have some sort of movement at the start of my day. I feel that it helps frame my mind, and I just feel really good when I've done it, and really productive. And I think it just sets me up for the day to feel like I'm going to have a great day. So, and I think there's a lot in sport that translates really well to business and in life. I think goal setting, like overcoming like injury or overcoming a poor performance, working in a team environment, learning to lose and learning to, not be the best, but to keep going. And so I think that through school and those muscles that builds in your mind, I think really translates to business, because there's a lot of that you need to be able to, I guess, deal with everything that comes with business. So, I think the discipline as well.
Definitely. Now, no business as well, just to remind you.
Okay,
this is
sorry.
podcast. I'm talking about gumboots. No, I'm only joking. I love everything you do. But tell me a bit about, I guess, what your Monday to Sunday looks like in terms of your fitness program and your regime, and what kind of activities are you doing that you really enjoy at the moment?
Yeah. So at the moment, I think I go through waves. Have you noticed that with me?
Yep.
Yes. I get really into something that I do that for like maybe a year or 6 months, and then I, go for something else. But at the moment it's running.
Yep.
I do maybe a 30-minute run, like 5 days a week, would you say?
Yeah.
And then I come back here and I'll do a strength circuit out in the grass. So something like that. This morning I ran to Pilates, which was 3 kilometres away, and then ran back. And I do hot strength on Sundays, which I love in Richmond. So, a bit of strength and cardio. But my cardio the running is not hardcore running. Like I run just at an okay speed. It's not super slow, but it's not super fast.
Yeah, I like how you sort of run for feeling. You sort of say it's just you know when you're sort of in stride and feeling good. And I've got to credit you for sort of getting me, into fitness, because I was very much not a morning person. And we used to go to this gym together, no free ads, but the Hurt Locker, which is pretty intense workout in Melbourne. And just even getting up for the day and doing that, it's just, I've reaped so many benefits. But you really kind of, I guess, uplifted me to get into that, and it's become a big part of, our dynamic, I think, and working around each other in terms of the slots and prioritising that, because I feel like it's a big part of the fabric that helps us parent, work, whatever it may be. So I feel like, it is a really important part of our life and livelihoods, and hopefully will continue to be the case.
Absolutely. I hope that I can exercise for the rest of my life. And that's why I don't want to push myself too crazy to do anything too crazy. I'm 40 and
Congratulations.
And I've got this
great milestone. Yeah.
And I've
say that
got
again.
This,
sorry, a bit louder into the microphone.
I'm 40. I'm a little bit older than Nick.
We can talk about that.
But I want to be able to exercise for the rest of my life. So it's not about trying to, get into the Olympic team or
Well, you almost got into the bush rangers at one stage. You had a cricket prodigy.
No, in Lee Gutha, I played a cricket.
Someone saw something in you.
But I really love exercise, and I just hope that I can do it always. So for me, it's like a mental health thing, and it just makes me feel good. So Are there any goals that you have in terms of events or activities you want to try and do? As you say, it's not really for you about that, but is there anything you're sort of keeping an eye on or interested in at the moment? Yeah, so I'm going to do a half marathon with Mother's Day Classic, Merry People are sponsoring.
Great.
So
happy to give a free ad to them because it's a charity.
So I think it's the 10th of May. So I'll be doing that, but I'm going to be just running that with my team. So I'm not going to be trying to set any goals there in terms of distance, in terms of speed. I might do maybe something else to try to do it and try and get a good time, maybe around the circa 1 hour 50 mark for a half marathon.
Brilliant, awesome.
But the last time I did a half marathon, it was 2 hours. So I wanted to, my sister Michelle ran 150. So
got to beat her.
Yeah, I got to beat her.
Oh, I think you can do it. I think you got it in you for sure.
We were talking about maybe doing, like I did mention to you, potentially doing a High Rocks together.
Yeah, you, but yes.
Yes, maybe later in the year, but we'll see. I feel like that, that would have to mean more intense training, and so whether we would have to do some Hurt Locker sessions together. Well,
scheduling around the kids as well, and sort of I guess tying all that in, because I think going from working out to sort of what can be hard work at times, it'd be great for us to talk about our parenting journey and motherhood and being a working mum, which I think you do so admirably, but I know you're also quite hard on yourself at times. But we're very fortunate to have 2 amazing kids, Jack and Georgia. First question I have for you is, what do you love the most about Jack and Georgia? If there's like one thing, and I can give you an answer for each of them as well, but is there like a quality in them that you really love or admire? Or
yes, I would say for Jack, it's his kindness. I would say he's very kind and empathetic, and even the way
he my answer.
Oh, really?
That's good. We're on the same page.
He I just love how he plays with people, and and just the way he is with Georgia. Like he's very kind. And for Georgia, it would be her determination.
Bloody hell. Okay, you're 2 from 2.
They're the same.
But I do concur. And look, I think, no kids are perfect. Ours definitely have their moments, but I agree those are traits that I think really permeate through, and I see so much of you in both of them, and it's
And
really
you.
lovely. Yeah, oh, thank you, but probably more you.
Thank you as well.
Anyway, I guess maybe we can talk a little bit about your sort of journey into becoming a parent while working and what
Yeah.
that transition was like. Because I think we had to navigate and are still navigating a lot
Yeah.
in the juggle and managing all of that. I guess just maybe we can even talk about what it was like when Jack came into our lives and how that changed our world for the better, of course, but the different challenges it brought.
Yeah, I would say I feel like it was interesting. I'm older than you, and I
Want to say how much older?
I'm 8 years older. I'm 8 years older than Nick,
Yeah.
which was interesting. When we first met, you were 23. I was 31.
How did you sell that to your family?
It was interesting. I remember calling my mum and telling her that I'd met someone, which was probably 4 or 5 months after I had started dating you. I think I told you that it took a while. Mum's Indian, so I can't.
I'm not judging.
As soon as she thinks it's like, all right, when we're getting married. So I knew I had to hold out in telling her until I thought I was confident and serious about you. And I remember telling her, and she was really excited. And then she asked how old you were. And I said, oh, he's a little bit younger than me, Mum.
Bit of male.
And then she said, oh, how much younger? And she said 28. And I said, oh, a little bit younger. She's like 25. And then I was like, oh, a little bit younger. She said 24. And anyway, and then when I told her that you're 23, she didn't like it actually initially.
I think she's warmed up now, thankfully. But
She definitely has. And it was really interesting because, and one of the many things I love about my mum, like in that phone conversation, she said to me that, I shouldn't be dating a 23-year-old, that you weren't at the same stage of life as me. But then maybe a couple of days later, she called me up. She apologized for making that statement to me, and
after she'd met me, or
no, she actually hadn't even met you
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
But she said, "Look, I'm 10 years younger than your dad, and I think typically a woman is younger, and I think it just really threw me." So, I was really proud that she was so reflective, and then obviously she met you and she loved you and thought you seemed older than what you were. And
is it because I don't have any hair, or
you had hair at that stage.
yeah, not much though.
But I think what you were doing, I think she thought was beyond your years, and so no, they very much loved you and still do.
Oh, that's great. And vice versa, wholeheartedly reciprocated. Make sure we get that and capture that, please. But no, I guess on parenting and advice and all the rest of that, I guess we could maybe talk a bit about our journey into parenthood. And navigating that, being we were both working at the time, and how we found that.
Yes. So as I said, I was older than you, and I probably should.
I never saw that. Sorry to interrupt. I've never ever. I mean that wholeheartedly. I've never seen age as a thing between us, which is I think a great thing and a good tell.
Me too,
Yeah.
for the most part. Early days a little bit, probably. Early days a little bit more.
Is that when I took you on our first date to a Fast and Furious screening, or
Maybe, yes, yeah.
you liked it too? So come on.
I think it's like in music and just like pop culture and stuff sometimes, but I also love it.
Right.
I think. I think we had Jack when I was 36 and 35, 36. And I think you were 28. So when
I turned 28.
You were just about to turn 28.
Yeah, the day after he was.
The day after.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was COVID as well,
Yes.
so I think that was a little bit different. But Merry People was really growing. I grew 300% that year. My business, you were very much a part of it, and we couldn't keep up with stock, and I had 4 staff, and it was just a really crazy time for me with work in learning to keep up with a growing business and constant problems and challenges and constant learning. And I think I was a bit cavalier about becoming a mum. I thought, everyone does it. I'll be great. I'm a hard worker. I love kids. I can do this. And that will just be the easy part. And then, it was probably the biggest shock of my life when we
Oh, me too. Yeah.
when we brought Jack home from the hospital, and the feeding and the constant feeding and
The sleep as well.
and
yeah.
I just was really thrown. So I think it was just a bit of a shock to me and the system. And I remember calling my sister up, who I've got a very close relationship with, and she's got 3 kids, and I've babysat them a lot. But just that newborn stage, I think I really didn't know what we had in store. And I remember saying to her, like, why didn't you tell me about this? Like, I feel like as my sister, you should have helped me or even just give me a little heads up.
Yeah.
And so she's like, no, there's this unofficial rule that you don't tell people who don't have children how hard it is. And I was like, okay, well, that's a silly rule.
The early days, it gets infinitely greater. Doesn't it?
Absolutely. It was just the early days, particularly with work. And so I found it challenging navigating it with my work. And I think it was just I wasn't prepared at all. I hadn't gone to any classes or read any books.
No, yes,
nothing.
We did a first aid course.
We did
just
a first
in
aid
case,
course,
but nothing in terms of birthing or
totally. I was just more trying to get my business set up so
Yeah.
that I didn't have to go into the office every day,
Yeah.
and I was still working. I remember negotiating payment terms with the factory 2 days after giving birth, and having Jack in the carrier and bouncing him and talking to the factory on video call, and just things like that I think are wild, but I just had to do them. So but sorry, I know this isn't about married people, but it's just I think it's really closely linked.
I want to talk about you being a working mum and balancing that and adjusting to it, because you're right. I think it was a big adjustment. I feel like it's funny in terms of the event itself. I feel like it is significant, but I remember I was explaining it even to Mike, who's off camera right now, like, it was the night before, we were just in bed and something about Mary was on. And then like the next day, Jack was here. And it was just like life just, it's a massive moment, but life goes on and Monday becomes Tuesday. And it's just really surreal that it just is, this thing. And I remember walking out of the hospital after he was born, and it was like the start of the day and just going out to get a coffee. But I was like, I'm going out to get a coffee this time, but I'm ordering as a dad. Not that I was like yelling it out like, hey, but it's just, it's funny. Like it's just this moment in time and it just happens and you just, like a footy analogy, you sort of will yourself to the contest. And but I think you did an amazing job to navigate it all. And all parents always who are navigating, the trials, tribulations of kids, got the utmost respect for. But as you say, sort of also managing this additional layer of the workload. And as the kids have grown as well, one thing I really admire, I think, is like when you come home, you're just so actively engaged with the kids, and I'm able to sort of turn my volume down a little bit and sometimes just sneak away to the toilet for a little bit longer or to the couch for a moment of scrolling or whatever. But I feel like you come home and you're so animated and you're so invested. And I don't know whether you're trying to because I know the mum guilt thing is a thing I'd like you to talk about that a bit as well, but I think you've got nothing to be guilty about. But I guess just you come home and you're so present, and how do you G yourself up for that? It's probably not hard. You're probably just excited to see the kids, but I feel like something happens and you're able to switch off from work. Is that a conscious decision that you make? It's like, all right, I get home through that door and I'm just here as mum.
No, it's not conscious. I genuinely get super pumped like when I come home and, I've got songs that I sing to the kids.
Do you want to do one?
No, I'm not going to sing any now. I've made up a lot of songs, and even when I'm on the way home, I sometimes sing them to myself in the car.
Sing them as well,
And it just makes me so happy to walk in the door and see them like running up the hallway and whatever their George's crazy outfits are, and Jack telling me about his day. I love it. And I love the silliness that it's brought out in me or brought back to me as a person. And I just love it. I don't know. I think you just find, I think at times you've got to dig deep and find another gear in being a parent. But I do love coming home and doing that. But sometimes maybe when it gets to 8 o'clock, 8:30 and they're still not in bed, I can get a little bit tired and
more testing.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any I guess working parents, any little tips, about managing the juggle and especially I guess people who like yourself maybe have founded a company or, obviously you've got this additional layer of responsibility. Like, do you have any insights you give around, being kind to yourself? I don't know. Any examples that you have?
I don't know. I think just every day is a new day. And for me, it's just trying to do the best I can. And some days are more than others. And other days it is just getting through, but just being kind to yourself and I think for us and for me, I've had to try to put like blinkers on in not comparing our lives or my life to the people around me, which I think was really hard at the start with becoming a mum and having to go back to work so soon when all the girls in my mother's group got to have a long maternity leave and I was back in the office when Jack was 11 weeks old. And I think, there definitely is feelings where I grew up with a stay-at-home mum, and I think that was my programming in my head that that's what a mum should do, and that's that was just how I was brought up, and I thought that was what I had to do. And I think as we've had children and as Mary People's grown, I've kind of just had to lean into what my life is and to what Mary People has become and be grateful for that and just try to, I guess, just be in what our situation is, and that I'm very fortunate that you've been able to step back and take more of the lead parent role. And I feel so lucky that the kids have you, and that feels, really good. And I just try to be the best I can be, in the mornings. I don't get to the office till 9 a.m. I try to leave the office at 5:30, sometimes 5:45.
I was going to say, can sometimes get up there.
But I try to leave. I've got it in my goals to try to leave at 5:30 every day. And I just try my best. But I think my advice is just to look at your own situation and to try to just take day by day and try your best not to compare to other people, because we're all just trying to do a great job and do the best we can, I think.
Definitely. I remember hearing a quote from someone who was speaking once at a gig, and she said, you can't compare, your behind the scenes to someone's highlights or show reel.
Yes.
And that's where I guess social media comes into play as well. It's like these kind of, hyper curated lives and everything looks amazing.
Totally.
But, you're so right that it's, everyone's got their own things happening.
Absolutely. I actually remember early days with Jack, I put a ban on myself from social media because I'm like, no, I'm just going to go off Instagram. I don't really use Facebook that much, but I said I'm going to go off Instagram for a week and just not go on it at all because I found myself comparing my life and my journey as a mum to the people on social media, and kept thinking, well, why doesn't my house look like that? And why don't I feel the feelings that they're feeling? And they're saying all these things. I don't feel like that. And I realized, it was fueling a bad thing for me. And I was able to just go, no, I'm not going to look at it. Which was hard. Sometimes I'd just get to my phone and I would just instantly do it, which was concerning. But that was good. And I feel, that I've been able to, maybe it's because I didn't grow up with social media and until, my 20s, and maybe it's because I use social media a lot for my work. But I feel like I know that a lot of it is very curated, and so I think I can know that, not to compare our life or my journey as a mum with others.
But I think also you're talking about, growing up with your mum at home as well, but at the same token, she was going up to the shed, every night and milking the cows. So you have this example of as I say, hard work has been embedded.
Yes.
Which I think is a really positive thing and something I think I really admire about you, and I'm sure our kids will, in turn. And maybe we can, pivot a little bit to, our relationship, if you're okay to talk about that. But as you say, in terms of, myself sort of stepping into, that sort of primary carer role and still supporting, you and your business in a professional capacity as well. But, that this even has been a opportunity for me to do something else. And I think I've had a bit of a void and, admittedly, really struggled over sort of the last little while, especially Christmas time when we moved house and having my OCD and that really flared up. And it was such a wonderful constant and so steadfast. You always have been, in terms of when we've gone on, work trips, etc. I feel like you're the one who's got a bit more tether and can tolerate more, and I crumble a bit easier, which again probably is back to sort of your experience in growing up. But that's again a thing I really admire about you is that with people you're just so invested and you deeply care. And I just want to say thank you and my gratitude for helping get me and this to this place, because, you know, I was really overwhelmed and really struggling.
Yeah.
And you helped me to get help. You've always encouraged me that, you know, you should pursue this, and this is something that I think you'd be okay or good at, but I'm going to say okay for now. Hopefully it gets better.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you, because it's actually awesome to be sitting here right now doing this, and to have you as my first guest is beautiful. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. I'm not trying to make you want me to cry.
I could hear a dog barking in the background.
I think I'm going to cry, but it's a dog. Okay. Anyway, I wasn't trying to make you cry. So I just want to say thank you, because it's really special. And I love having you as my first guest. I think it's just brilliant, and I'm so proud of everything you're doing.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you for doing it. I think you said an interview actually you said a quote in an interview I heard in a recent one you did with ABC, and you said that where you start is not where you finish. And I thought it was a really great quote, and I think it's something that I think is really great for you to remind yourself of with this.
We've started.
But maybe hopefully we will still be finishing with us sitting together and at
Fingers
a table
crossed.
and having a conversation. But I think it's just so important to do the things that fill up your cup, and that's why I was just really excited for you to do this for you, and to support you on that. So
thank you. No, I'm excited. Well, we do get into a bit of promotion now. So our next segment is the Merry Moments segment, sponsored by the new Merry People Oberon boot, which should be out by the time this is released and drops.
Yes.
But what I want you to do is just tell me about one of the best adventures or trips or experiences that you've had, whether it's travel or whatever, if you can sort of recall something for me.
Yeah, so many holidays and adventures, but probably one that comes to mind is our first overseas holiday
I was hoping to say that.
to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think it was really important, like a big one for me, because I hadn't taken a holiday in Merry People since I started it. I'd been to China for work, but I hadn't had a holiday where I'd gone out of the business for a couple of weeks. So I had a couple of staff by then, and we did a Jetstar business class ticket.
Very luxe.
And it was really fun. And I think just being able to play and go and do all the ATV driving.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was the Kipu Ranch in Kauai. And I think if you want to get a further reference, there's is it Morgan Evans, is like an Australian country artist who did a video clip with a woman she's a great country singer, Kelsey Ballerini. They're not married anymore, but they like documented the trip. It's like the music video, and it almost like parodies like
what we did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
It was super fun, and the food, the weather, the people, and just had a great time. And I think for me anyway, it was like I think I want to marry this guy. So
well, I thought that like years prior, so we finally caught up, which is great. I'm glad that was the moment.
Yeah, so no, it was a lot of fun.
It was. I mean, there were a couple of funny moments. I mean, I guess there was one where we were going down for a swim in Maui, down like a jetty that had some seaweed and whatnot on it. And you had a little slip, and I sort of chuckled to myself. And I said, "Don't laugh." Yeah, what'd you say?
I said, "Watch out! It's really slippery there." And you laughed at me for falling over.
Mid laugh, I've fallen and I've landed and I've chipped my front tooth off, so it's like severed, and we've ended up with this dentist, and he had a Hawaiian shirt on, which was elite. So I love that. I feel like everyone wore Hawaiian shirts, even like pilots on those like flights around the island. So
everyone wore matching. Do you remember that? People were matching in like matching Hawaiian outfits.
No, I don't, but we should do that next time.
Yeah, maybe we should do it with the kids next
time.
Family
goals. Yeah.
I think it's a thing.
Yeah. But there was one part of it, which again, it's a story. There's actually a photo of us behind where we went to something that you wanted to do. It was sort of towards the tail end of the trip. And it was like a luau, which is like a traditional evening where you sort of have the food and there's the dancing and like a cultural experience. But ours wasn't quite what we thought it was going to be. If you can recall, luau.
Yes.
Well, we can cut the name if you want to.
We don't want to give that.
You can beep that one, Mark,
Don't
in the
go
edit.
there.
And beep the name, but yes. Tell us about that experience.
We get a defamation claim.
Yeah.
No, so we should have done it in Maui or Kauai, I think. But no, luau is like a traditional ceremony where you do Hawaiian dancing, well, this is how it was sold on the internet.
Yeah.
But it was, traditional dancing and eating food that was, cooked in the ground.
Yeah. By the waterfront as well.
By the waterfront.
Yeah.
And it just looked really beautiful. All the pictures, very intimate. And but then, so I found this one. We were back in the
Honolulu,
in Honolulu.
Yeah.
And I found one and it had the best reviews on TripAdvisor. And so I booked it in and it was quite expensive. I think it was around 600 Australian dollars for both of us.
Yeah.
And then, we got picked up from the hotel in this big coach bus with everyone else. And then I was like, okay. And then we were in, the bus for an hour odd to get down the freeway.
Got to 2, I think, in the end.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
And then we were late, so we missed the start. But
because there was supposed to be like hand-drawn tattoos and like basket weaving.
All these traditional skills.
And intimate. So we just thought, okay, must be everyone on this bus is the whole contingency going towards this event. But we rocked up.
But then there were 10 other buses, maybe more, that were coming at the same time. And it was at a kind of water theme park.
Water park, like Waterworld.
Yes.
Yeah, SeaWorld,
Yeah, so by the water, that was correct, but I feel like it was a little misleading.
Yeah.
And we got there and we sat on these white plastic chairs and there was maybe 800 people there.
Yeah.
And
you did the math. You thought that the earnings from the evening would have been
over $1 million US.
Yeah.
Driving in the
one of those cash counters, just like the money cycling
in
through.
a Ferrari. But it was not. It was a fun and funny experience. I remember we got back on the bus and we'd had a couple of cocktails and we were kind of laughing.
We were okay about it because we bought there was different tiered packages and we bought the bronze. But I remember this British woman was absolutely irate and she was in front of us and we were giggling. She's like, "This is an absolute disgrace. I cannot believe it. I'm going to talk to concierge first thing in the morning because this is absolutely disgraceful. I paid for the platinum and I rocked up. The food was terrible. The seating was shocking. There were so many people. It was very funny. So
very good.
Anyway, it's very cool. But you're right. Thank you. But I guess those are the things you remember at holidays, isn't it? It's the stuff that sort of doesn't quite go right, or that you really sort of hold dear. And we've got that photo behind if you want to grab it and show the camera because I think it's actually a really happy moment for us. And as I say, we'd sort of
that was us getting
hoodwinked. And then the next day, Dani went online and did some further forensic investigation. And
I woke up that morning and I felt a little bit dirty. I was looked at my bank account. I was like, that was not worth $600. And I was thinking of everything else we'd done over our trip, and I felt a little bit cheated. And then I started reading the reviews. So there were some pretty terrible reviews.
Page 2, 3.
Yeah, they just obviously maybe they.
Well, the worst one was this poor woman who was in a wheelchair who the line was, "The show goes on."
Yes.
And the poor woman was in a wheelchair and it was torrential rain that night, she wrote, and she was eating soggy pork in the plastic, sort of on the table. And she just said, "The show goes on. Just never ends," which was mortifying. That
was in a review.
Yes.
Yeah, that we read.
Anyway, fun memories.
Yes. No, it was fun. So, we'll have to go back there sometime soon.
Not to that particular.
No, that one. But we'll have to go back to Hawaii with the kids.
Definitely. Yeah. That's definitely a goal for me. I think I've slated, an occasion to transpire there, hopefully down the track for us. But on that note, I guess a couple of quick fire questions just to sort of get to the bottom of the barrel because we're almost there in terms of time. And thank you for your time. Hope it's gone quick.
Yeah.
But could you tell us what your favourite coffee order is or what you get in the morning?
An almond milk matcha. But I don't drink it every day at the moment.
No honey either.
No honey, yes.
Why don't you like it sweet?
I just don't. I like it bitter.
Yeah. And what's also unsettling about you is you also just drink warm water without a tea bag, just scalding hot water, which you slurp in bed at night time.
I don't slurp.
You slurp.
It's an Indian thing actually.
Is it really?
Warm water. Yes,
okay.
It is.
Okay.
But I just like warm water. I think I just like how it makes me feel. I run cold, obviously.
Yeah. T-shirt shorts.
And I feel like it keeps me warm. And I find I can drink more water throughout the day if it's warm. Yeah,
brilliant. Now, next question. And I know it's on a wedding day, which is totally fine because you've said this and we've said it as well. Is what does your best day look like? Because our wedding day was amazing. It was a party and it was awesome. But you're like, it wasn't the best day of my life. You're like, it was brilliant, but you're obviously interacting with everyone and it's, a lot of noise and everything else. But could you just talk us through, what your dream or best day might look like for Dani Pearce?
Yeah, for context, the day after we got married, I remember saying to Nick that, I I said to you, I was lying on the couch and I said, Nick, you know how people say your wedding day is the best day of your life? And I said,
It's like, yeah.
I said, that was not the best day of my life. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it wasn't.
It was fun though.
It was super fun,
Yeah.
but I found it very stressful and very hectic.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then that kind of got us to talk about, well, what would be the best day of your life? And so yeah, I said waking up with the kids, doing some exercise.
So mine wouldn't have the kids. I'd be like waking up, like just, having a good sleep in
Okay.
as a contrast.
Okay, maybe I'll say like waking up, but like I've had a good sleep.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if the kids are like
Yeah,
in there,
yeah.
like I've had a good sleep. And then doing some exercise, having breakfast with you and the kids somewhere. And then maybe Pillar of Salts.
Yeah, we like it there.
Yeah, we love
Good
it there in
coffee.
Richmond.
Yeah. Banana bread.
And then, yeah, maybe going to get my hair done, doing a little bit of shopping.
Yeah. What are you buying? Anything you got
I don't know,
going on?
something to wear maybe.
Yeah, you like your fashion?
And then, yeah, just having a look at the shops and then, yeah, maybe having some lunch with someone like a friend, a close friend or family.
Yeah.
And then maybe some afternoon drinks somewhere with friends. Yeah, something like that.
What's your sort of afternoon drink of choice? What's your typical?
I like to start with the bubbles normally, like a champagne, and then I like either an Aperol or some sort of a spritz, and I like amaretto sour is probably or a whiskey sour.
Yeah.
For a cocktail, but I don't drink as much as I used to.
No.
I feel like
Too hard.
I'm happy now just to have a couple of drinks
Yep.
and move on. But I still like to get a little bit bubbly. But
Yeah. Well, maybe it's just saying it's like you got to front up. There's no
Yes,
choice. The next day is
totally.
whether you like it or not, and you
Yes.
can sort of choose your fate there. So
yeah, but I just don't enjoy it as much. Like I don't enjoy going out and having big vendors the way I used to. Like I get to a point now where I'm like,
I'm glad to hear that. You have got 2 kids. So.
Yeah. Well, I can
You
just
don't have to keep that in the pot if you don't want to. Big vendors, but that's fine.
No. I'm just happy to go home. Like I'm just happy. I just enjoy having a drink, catch out with people and being a little bit merry, but then
absolutely.
also enjoy waking up and feeling okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. I feel like for me, to this stage of life, it's like I find the days more enjoyable than the nights. Often it's like I can get more out of that experience. But I still do like.
We have to do it more though. We do need to.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, final question. Like, is there anything that you are watching or listening to or reading right now which you're into, bar the Epstein files, because you've gone down such a black hole there, and I feel like we can avoid, unless you want to give your take on it. You can hit it here first. But
No.
But is there anything, I guess,
in danger.
Escapism that you're into or you like watching or
Well, yeah, I do like true crime.
You do?
Yeah. So that's probably just, documentaries on Netflix on true crime. At the moment it's at Lucy Letby, I think it is.
Okay.
The nurse in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
It's
But
just
I hate
very
watching
sad.
that, 'cause I come home and I'm like, how are you watching this before you go to bed? You're like a psycho and a sicko, because I'm like, I want to like unwind and feel good about the next day, and you're watching like these heinous crimes that are transpiring.
I know. I don't know what is wrong with me. Especially, I don't know why, but I just find it so interesting and foreign from obviously our life and my work.
Yes.
And so I think it is just that escapism.
Yep.
And and obviously the Epstein files, I just find that bizarre and crazy, and just this whole deep hole literally that you can get into at night time. So
I'm glad you've got to that point in terms of not consuming that kind of content. But I feel like even early days with Jack and where people growing, like, you've been so dedicated to your work, and often at all hours you'd be responding to the Instagram comments like in bed, which is I think that's also been part of the secret sauce and what's led to some great success for you and the organisation. It's because you've been so invested. But I feel like maybe the fact that you're watching these heinous crimes transpire on these documentaries is a good sign that you're sort of that it's levelling out a little bit for you, and you're able to kind of exist in both worlds and separate church and state. So
I try to only work maybe one night a week, sometimes 2, but I try not to do what I used to do, because it was just too consuming and it was not healthy. And there's always things on your to-do list and always more, but I think it's more, I'm trying to play the long game and try to what's more sustainable. And Yeah. So even though that doesn't feel productive to watch these heinous crimes, it just is good for my brain and to have a little break.
That's escapism.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, you've been an amazing guest and you're a brilliant wife. So thank you. Both counts. It's been awesome to have you and thanks for being the guinea pig for this program.
No, thank you. Have you found it? Have you found
I really enjoyed it. You know, it's funny. I mean, like, it hasn't felt like work, which I think is like a great thing. Like I've been so energized by this whole project, which I think is, you know, turning a new leaf for myself and a new chapter. So I hope I can keep it going. Yeah. There are more episodes. So thank you for listening to None of Your Business and stay tuned for the next guest. But thanks again, Dani. Hope you have a great day.
No,
see you tonight.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Cheers.
None of your business. None of your business.